If you type 80 words per minute, you are extremely fast. But do you know that the average English speaker will speak at the rate of approximately 150 words per minute? Almost twice of the words per minute. And that fact alone is here to change how we write software. Historically, writing code with voice, it was hard. Natural language recognition wasn't great for something as specific as C#, JavaScript, Java, whatever. All those details of the syntax were not compatible with these language recognition systems. The good news is that nowadays we can take advantage of natural language using AI to produce the code that we are looking for. That means that building systems with voice is actually a reality. Not only that, but AI massively improved the tools that we use for voice recognition, to a point that nowadays tools like Claude Code already offer a /voice command that you can use to start speaking to your terminal instead of slowly typing your prompt. We all know that being a software engineer is mostly about the thinking process, the design moment. Maybe 20% of your time was actually writing code. The other 80% was about communication, design, thinking. But nowadays, the part of communication became even more important because now we have an assistant on our pocket, on our laptop, on the web that we can take advantage to help us to improve the results of our work. So taking advantage of this type of voice recognition became even more important. There's one thing that we know about LLMs and agents, is that a good prompt, an extensive prompt, enough context can make the difference in the end result. We also know that typing that prompt is hard, takes time, maybe 80 words per minute if you are fast enough. However, I've realized by using voice more and more in my day-to-day is that nowadays I think out loud with an agent listening. Naturally, the type of information that I feed into the agent is much richer. It might be a bit less organized, I confess, because I tend to rumble in my thoughts. However, the end result, the one that the agent will use, tends to be better because now I produced even better information as the context for that prompt. And how can you do that? There's many tools on the market to use your voice with AI. However, one of the coding agents that is widely used, Claude Code, actually has voice embedded in the product. So if you go to your terminal using Claude, you can simply use the command /voice, enter, and now you enable the voice mode. That means that from now on, if I want to express my prompts using just voice, I just need to hold space while I'm working with Claude Code and it will do it for me. So I'm holding the space and now I can start speaking with Claude. You can see it there. This is part of the video where I'm talking about voice mode using Claude Code. It doesn't recognize Claude Code, what is strange. But the good news is that once I stop it, once I just leave my space, I can go there and adjust whatever I want if needed. Not only that, but if I decide to go back and start voice mode again, I don't need to run the /voice command once again. I just need to press space once again without leaving it. And it's done. Once you get used to this voice mode dictation, you will realize that you want to use this in many other spaces other than Claude Code. You might want to, for example, draft an email, draft a blog post, or even discuss an idea with an agent. If you want to use voice in more than Claude Code, you can use tools like Whisperflow. Whisperflow is a great tool. This is not a sponsored video. It could be, unfortunately is not, because I would be glad to promote Whisperflow because I actually love the product and I actually use it every single day. And what's the thing about Whisperflow? First, incredible user experience. Second, perfect voice recognition. And how do you use it? Once you have the tool installed, you just configure the shortcut that you want to use, and wherever you are, you can just hold that shortcut and you keep talking, and you can see in the bottom of your screen something that is detecting whatever you are saying. So I can start talking and talking and talking and trying to organize my thoughts, and it's just there listening. Once I'm happy with it, I just leave that key alone and it will recognize and insert whatever I've said on that place. Perfect. The good news is that now you can use this not only for your coding agents, but also to other things that are part of your day-to-day as an engineer. Writing emails, summaries, documents, drafting the first version of a spec. While speed is the obvious benefit, there's others. Do you know when you go to your colleagues and you start explaining a given problem and magically you find the solution? It's the rubber ducking. Now you do it with an agent, basically. So during that process of trying to explain something, sometimes you reach the conclusion without even making an effort. Another benefit is the mobility part. Now you can go for a walk and keep talking with an agent. You can go for a walk and you can start drafting a specification. You start thinking about everything and you just say it and it will generate the first draft for you. Nowadays, tools like Cloud Code can start a remote session, so you can take advantage of voice mode and you can prompt it on the train. And this fact has also the benefits in terms of physical health. Why? Because this means that you don't need to stay at your desk just using this thing anymore. You can actually go for a walk. And we know that, for example, by going outside to a green space, you can enhance your creativity. You can find different ideas. Is proof is healthy. So it's not only about the physical health, but also the mental well-being as well. Obviously, you could do it before, but going for a walk and having this posture for a long time is not a great thing. Let's say it. So just use your earplugs and speak with your agent. Okay, how do I actually use it in my day-to-day? I don't use the Cloud Code voice mode. To be honest, what I use on my day-to-day is actually Whisperflow. I have it both on my laptop, but also on my phone. So when I want to go, I want to say something, even to write a message or, for example, draft an email, something like that, I will use Whisperflow for that. When I'm building software, when I'm creating something, and I'm here at my desk, what I do is that I start Whisperflow and I have the terminal of Cloud Code, for example, and I do it that way. And I can do it for many different things. Even, for example, when I'm not sure about what I'm building or I'm discussing ideas, I'm trying to find the best angle to approach a given problem, I like to think out loud. So I will do it with Whisperflow. It will insert the text inside of Cloud, and I can have the discussion from there on. Also, sometimes while I'm driving, what I like to do is that I use ChatGPT voice mode on Apple CarPlay, and I start a conversation and I can have a discussion about a given topic, something that I've been thinking about, something that I'm concerned, I want to make plans. So I start a voice mode conversation using my Apple CarPlay, and I have the discussion from there. So I've been using voice over and over again. For example, I like to, every single week, to create the first draft of my newsletter and I will speak it, okay? I will just speak out loud every single thing that I've been working on and what types of things I'm thinking. And based on that, I will extract the first version of my newsletter that then I can edit it. By the way, if you don't subscribe yet to my newsletter, you can find the link in the description. And every week I will send you a tip on how to take advantage of AI, but only those 20% that actually matter. And now I would love to hear from you. Have you been using voice mode lately?